And of course, Harry going on with his work in the military as a helicopter pilot, and also with the Invictus Games and so on. He's built up a huge positive reputation, and yet even now, with his remarks about the Taliban, that dehumanizing the people that he was shooting, I think the quote was that that they were just like chess pieces, we're not seeing them as real people, that this is giving propaganda opportunities to the Taliban. Well, what do you make of that?
Yes, well, it was very ill-advised. It also shows that, again, he said he wanted privacy, but apparently he's now so famous that even the Taliban in Afghanistan almost immediately hear what he's saying, because the Taliban remarks were leaked in an interview before it was leaked a few days ago, before the book went on sale. So all corners of the earth seem to know exactly what he's doing. Now, he also said that he wanted to protect his family. That's one reason he moved out of the UK from the so-called evil British media. Instead, he may have done something much more grave and serious, which is put a marker on himself and his family from Islamic radicals, having almost reveled in the eyes of some Islamists in his killing of 25 Afghans. Yes. So we only have to remember what tragically happened a few months ago to Salman Rushdie. More than 30 years after the Iranian Ayatollah Khomeini put a kind of fatwa on the British author, the British Indian author Rushdie, basically calling for someone to kill him, a lone Islamist at an American literary festival a few months ago indeed stabbed Salman Rushdie, gravely injuring him for life. That's more than 30 years later. So unfortunately for Prince Harry, who knows, it could just be a lone person may try to attack him, or they may say he killed 25 Afghans, leaving their children, parentless or fatherless. We want revenge on one of Harry's children. So it's very, very ill-advised of what he said. I also think, since you mentioned the thing about chess pieces, we don't know that the 25 people he killed were all Taliban. Mm-hmm. He was firing at night time from an Apache attack helicopter on homes and villages. There is every possibility that some of the fatalities were women and children. We simply don't know. I mean, almost no army in the world fighting a guerrilla force, especially at night time, avoids any civilian casualties. So I certainly think that Harry could have shown a bit more contrition about it if he was going to mention it at all. Obviously, it's a complicated situation with the Afghan war and the Taliban, but nevertheless, they were human beings, and indeed, not just the Taliban have criticized Harry, but quite a lot of people elsewhere in other Muslim countries. You have an American-Palestinian journalist who now tweeted that Harry is a monstrous, murderous psycho and called on Harry to be put before the International Criminal Court for war crimes. You also have an Austrian Muslim journalist who called Harry an imperial mass murderer. So I don't know what to say. It's very, very ill-advised. It goes completely against his supposed desired wish to have more privacy and protect his family. And even if he will be protected by bodyguards, he may have put other British people at risk. There could be some Islamists who now want to generally take revenge on some soft target of British people on a holiday somewhere or something like that.
Well, severely ill-advised. Now, I know this book was ghostwritten, so it's not actually his own pen to paper. But as a personal...
No, he's checked it. He's checked it, and he also read. The audio version is read, apparently, very nicely by Harry himself.
Right.
People keep on saying the young couple, he's a kid. He's not. He's almost 40 years old. He's had a year and a half to work on this. Yeah. It's not excusable, in my view, to say, oh, he didn't read his own book or whatever properly. It was the ghostwriter. I mean, he's got lots of advisors around him, and he has to take responsibility for what he's written and what he's doing.
And as a soldier, he should know all about taking responsibility and responsibility for the future as well. Whilst he's been going around like a bull in a china shop, getting all this off his chest, there is a future to continue with, hopefully, with his family. Quite apart from the fact that they have a particular role in society as the royal family. Do you see, has Harry burnt his bridges, or might there be hope for him for reconciliation, both with his brother and father, but also with the British public?
Well, he continues to have his supporters among the British public, so I think that will still be the case. And I think the royal family are caught in a very difficult position. I think they can't publicly start a spat or even a war with him, so they will swallow it and be gracious and invite him to the royal coronation of his father, King Charles, this May. But to answer a wider question, I think that Harry, and maybe even more particular his wife Meghan, have spotted that the royal family in Britain is a bit old-fashioned, it's something of anachronism, and some people might say Britain itself, especially since Brexit, is becoming less important in the world. So Meghan and Harry originally said they were going to go into a small corner of Canada, but they quickly planned to go right next to Hollywood, among where all the stars and the action and the billionaires live. And in a way, they've set up an alternative royal court of kind of celebrity land by Hollywood. And maybe Meghan's right. Maybe that's where the real future is, and the interest and the power and the money. It's in Hollywood. It's not in Windsor or Buckingham Palace. And maybe they'll be able to continue to monetize this in future in a kind of celebrity world we live in today.
Well, so it's a 21st century palace coup of a sort, perhaps. It'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm sure there are many also who'd want to see the traditions in the UK be able to continue and thrive as they have done. Tom, I want to thank you for a fascinating conversation. Thank you so much for joining.